Welcome, seekers of hidden truths, to another journey through the echoes of the past. Today, we're unearthing secrets that have been buried not just in the sands of time, but in the shadows of human memory. We're diving into the world of the forgotten gods, those once powerful deities who held sway over civilizations, yet whose names and stories have been all but erased from history. Picture this: a time when humanity's connection to the divine was raw and unfiltered, where gods and goddesses weren't merely myth, but forces of nature, guiding every breath and heartbeat of the people. These were gods of harvests and storms, love and war, life and death. Their statues towered above ancient cities, their temples buzzed with the hum of prayer, and their legends were whispered in the dark around flickering fires. But something happened, something that caused their light to dim, their power to fade, and their very essence to vanish from the pages of our history books. Why did these once revered deities, who shaped the very foundations of ancient belief, get pushed into oblivion? The answer lies in a tangled web of politics, power struggles, and the shifting tides of religious dominance. Imagine a priesthood vying for control, desperate to secure their own deity as the supreme being while crushing all rivals. Picture the rise of empires, where conquering armies declared their gods as victors and branded the old ones as demons or false idols. These ancient forces weren't just forgotten, they were erased, purposefully wiped from memory to make way for the gods of the conquerors. Let's start with a name you might not have heard: Enlil. In ancient Mesopotamia, Enlil wasn't just a god, he was the god, the ruler of the skies, the bringer of storms, the voice of fate itself. He was so powerful that even other gods feared his wrath. But with the rise of new dynasties and shifts in the power structures of Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon, Enlil's supremacy was challenged. The rise of Marduk, a god favored by the Babylonian Empire, overshadowed Enlil, leading to his gradual fall from the divine hierarchy. Marduk's priests, with a cunning eye for politics, rewrote myths and legends, ensuring that their god was cast as the hero and the creator, while Enlil faded into the mists of forgotten lore. And then there's Amhe, the fearsome deity from ancient Egyptian mythology, a god whose very name means devourer of millions. His existence was closely tied to the underworld, a realm filled with darkness and chaos. Amhe was feared, respected, and even worshipped in secret by those who believed in the balance between creation and destruction. Yet, when the worship of Osiris and Ra took hold, gods of light, life, and resurrection, Amhe became a threat to the carefully cultivated image of order and goodness that the new religious elite wanted to promote. So, they buried him. His name was whispered only in the deepest shadows, and eventually, even those whispers died out. But it's not always about conflict between gods. Sometimes these deities disappeared because their teachings were too dangerous, too revolutionary. Take Sophia, the embodiment of wisdom and divine knowledge in Gnostic traditions. Sophia represented enlightenment, the pursuit of hidden truths, and the idea that divinity exists within each one of us. Her teachings threatened the rigid structures of early organized religion, which thrived on control, obedience, and the idea of a distant, all-powerful God. Sophia's message empowered individuals to seek knowledge and challenge authority, a concept that was simply too radical, and so she was cast aside, her stories twisted into heresy, her light dimmed to preserve the hierarchy of the powerful. These forgotten gods were more than just names. They were symbols of resistance, of ideas that challenged the status quo. Their stories hold echoes of forgotten truths and hidden wisdom, insights into humanity's earliest struggles to understand existence, morality, and the cosmos itself. What if I told you that even today their influence lingers, that the echoes of these ancient deities can still be felt in modern philosophies, in the quiet whispers of alternative beliefs, and in the symbols that have woven their way back into contemporary spiritual practices? They may have been erased from history, but their presence is etched into the human psyche, resurfacing whenever we question the reality presented to us. These gods may no longer be worshipped in grand temples or praised by mighty civilizations, but their stories are far from over. They live on, not in the pages of our textbooks, but in the questions we ask, the mysteries we seek to unravel, and the courage we find to challenge what we've been told is true. Stay with us as we journey deeper into the realms of these forgotten gods, where myths meet mysteries, and where the truths of the past are waiting to be uncovered once more. But what happens when gods are forgotten? What is the fate of a deity when their followers have turned to dust and their temples lie in ruins? Do they simply disappear into the void, or do they transform, waiting for the right moment to emerge again? Let's talk about one of the most intriguing aspects of these forgotten gods, their echoes in modern beliefs and spiritual practices. Though their names might have been erased, their essence, the core ideas they represented, found ways to survive. It's as if they've been hiding in plain sight, their influence woven into the tapestry of human thought and culture, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look beyond the obvious. Take the case of Cernunnos, the mysterious horned god of the Celts. In ancient times, Cernunnos was revered as the deity of nature, fertility, and the wild. His image was that of a powerful figure, half man, half beast, embodying the untamed spirit of the natural world. But as Christianity spread through Europe, his likeness was demonized. The horns that once symbolized his connection to the earth were recast as the mark of the devil. And yet, despite this transformation, Cernunnos' spirit persisted. You can still see his shadow in modern pagan practices, in the green man that appears in folklore, and in the resurgent reverence for nature and the wild that defies the industrial age. Then there's Lilith, the dark goddess whose story was twisted into one of demonization and fear. Originally a symbol of female power and independence, Lilith was said to be the first woman before Eve, a being who refused to be subservient. Her name became synonymous with the rebellion against patriarchy, and for that she was cast out, transformed into a demon in religious texts. Yet today Lilith has been reclaimed by those who see her as a symbol of liberation, of standing up against oppressive norms. Her story has inspired countless movements advocating for equality, individual rights, and the empowerment of women. Lilith's legend has become a rallying cry, proving that the power of these forgotten deities cannot be easily extinguished. But what's most fascinating about these gods is not just how they were erased, but how they refused to stay silent. It's almost as if they adapted, transforming their roles, merging into new myths and ideas that speak to the eternal struggles of humanity. These gods became symbols, not just of worship, but of resistance, of rebellion against the forces that tried to confine thought, limit creativity, and suppress individuality. This is where their true power lies, not in the grand temples or in the recitations of their ancient hymns, but in the quiet revolutions they inspire. In the modern world, these forgotten gods have become the patrons of those who challenge the norm, who dare to think differently, who refuse to let the past dictate the present. Even now, in our age of technology and reason, the whispers of these gods can still be heard if you listen closely. They speak through art, through symbols hidden in plain sight, through the philosophies that drive us to seek knowledge beyond the confines of traditional beliefs. They are there in the moments when we look to the stars and wonder if there is more, in the questions we ask about existence and purpose, in the search for something greater than ourselves. In the end, these gods were never truly forgotten. They were pushed into the shadows, waiting for the right minds to find them again. Their stories remind us that history is not just what's written in books. It's what we feel in our bones, what we carry in our hearts, and what we choose to seek out in the silence. So as you close this chapter with us, remember this: the gods we have forgotten are not gone. They are in the rustling of the leaves, in the rebellion of the heart, in the mysteries that keep us awake at night. They live on in our defiance, our curiosity, and our refusal to accept the world as it is without searching for the truth of what it once was. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the echoes of the past. If you seek the untold, the unseen, and the unheard, stay with us. The forgotten gods may have lost their temples, but they've found a new one in the minds of those who dare to remember.